Hi, and welcome to Exploring Creativity, Episode 2. Today, I want to just jump off the deep end and talk about the elephant in the room. You know, fear. The thing that we allow to keep stopping us over and over again. And I see it in everything that I'm reading. Fear, how to get over your fear, how to address your fear, how to whatever it is, and here there's fear of success, fear of failure, fear of being good enough, fear of doing anything, fear of being laughed at, fear. And I don't know about you, but I've spent an awful lot of time trying to decide what kind of fear is stopping me. Is it fear of success? Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of my fingernails? But what I'm realizing is doing that, I'm giving it so much attention and so much power, and that's not doing me any good at all. So let's talk about it a little bit. I'm going to start by this very cool quote in Elizabeth Gilbert's new book, Big Magic. How she says something about fear. She says, "We all know that fear is a desolate boneyard where our dreams go to desiccate in the hot sun." Oh my gosh. A desolate boneyard where our dreams go to desiccate in the hot sun. I don't want that. So, so the whole thing of giving it all that attention and all of my thoughts and energy trying to figure it out and eradicate it. But the thing she also talks about, and before I'm going to say this, I'm going to put out a shout out to my friend Neshama Ruth, who is the one who introduced this idea to me that I can actually just read one chapter in a book and sit with it for a while. I've never ever done that. It's Clue phone. It's kind of like that day where you realize if you're watching a video and you don't like it, you can shut it off instead of watching it to the end. Or if you don't like a book that you're reading, you can stop reading it. Oh my gosh, revolutionary. So this was totally revolutionary to me. I read the first chapter of her new book and I stopped. Actually, that's not technically true. I did open it randomly to a page near the end and read one story because I'm an addict that way and I couldn't help myself. But then a couple days later I read the chapter over again and stopped, and this time I really did stop. It was amazing. I'm just I thought about it through the whole week. So if you haven't already tried that, I totally throw that out as an idea because I'm really excited about the idea. And it really helps me too because I get really impatient as I'm reading and I want to finish the book. I want to get it all in, but I totally know that I get it all in and it goes right out again because I haven't just allowed it to sit and integrate. So that's the goal. And so I did it and it was really, really cool. So one of the things that she talks about, and it really resonated for me because it connected to something that I learned from another friend of mine, Connor Hulfruman, who runs and started this, the Jerusalem Narrative Therapy Institute. So one of the things that I understood from narrative therapy is this idea that the things about us aren't necessarily who we are. So my fear isn't me, it's an aspect that I can choose to allow to be part of my story, or I can say, no, you don't have a voice right now. And so Elizabeth Gilbert talks about that in her book, about how she realizes the creativity and fear are interconnected. You can't have creativity without fear because creativity is all about the unknown and fear is all about protecting us from the unknown. So it's doing its job and we should be grateful to it. But what we need to do, in my estimation, is we need to just kind of tell it, okay, these are your parameters. And I want to tell fear that I really appreciate what you've done and I appreciate what you do. And you totally have a voice when the outcome looks like death, dismemberment, emergency room, blood, horror, total, utter chaos. And other than that, filter, no, you can't get through. So what do you think about that as an idea? Like, thinking of fear is not like I'm afraid or I'm a fearful person, but I interact with fear and I can tell it when to be part of things and when to not be part of things. So that's the idea that I'm going to play around with. So I'm going to stop with the talking right now with the ideas because we're going to keep exploring it, I'm sure, because fear just cannot keep but coming up again and again. But let's think about that. And I promised you an activity for this week. So this is what I'm throwing out as an idea. So while I don't want to like give fear a lot of energy and attention and things, I do think it's probably helpful to think about like different guises that it shows up in, because it can be pretty wily that way, you know, like it's sneaky and it's like can be very enticing and oh, I'm just here to help you. So we need to like get on top of that. So what I'd really like you to do is just take a few minutes, think about it a little bit, sit with the whole like thing of how does fear come in, or what might fear look like, so you can kind of identify it when it shows up. So, like, what does fear look like to you? Is it big? Is it small? Is it scary? Is it black with like lots of craggy stuff? And get your pens and pencils and markers out and some paper and draw it. Draw fear. I'll show you two of my ideas of what I came up with so far. So fear to me sometimes is really super small like that. And I'm not exactly even sure about it, and that already sets me like going uncomfortable, stopped. And you know, sometimes it's like that. So you can see the like hope behind it, but it's covering. So yeah, give that a try and let me know how it goes. Below, you can see where there's space for comments, and I would love to hear what you think about this idea of just kind of giving fear its place, because it has to be there. It's not going to like go away, and I think that's part of what we've been trying to do. I know I've been trying to do, eradicate it, get rid of it. If it's fear of this, have to, but that's not what it. That's not sustainable. It's not going to happen because fear is always going to be there, and we need it to be there. So we can't just like get rid of it completely. It's just like figuring out how to work with it and when to give it voice and when not to give it voice. So so that's what I'm throwing out is the activity for the week, and like I said. Every week I'm setting an intention for myself. And actually this intention you might want to take up also as an activity, because my intention for this week, because I plan to show up again next Sunday, also an intention, and I've already just made the thing for it, is I'm going to make a contract with fear. So as I'm thinking about what role I want it to play in terms of my creativity and my life, I really want to be clear with it and with myself of what role it can play and where it can show up and where it can just sit silently. So there you go. Let me know below. I'm really interested in this being a dialogue and a conversation, and I really want to hear from you about what you're thinking and how you're processing the ideas as well. So I will see you next week. Have a great one.